It's my job on this expedition to try and find any evidence, dead or alive,
to the existence of this.
Hi, Taryn.
Hi, Heather.
How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. See, I said it again.
You did.
I'm always going to say it. I can't help it.
It's all good.
So, at work...
Okay. Sorry. Had to get it out.
At work, my favorite thing to do is... Because, see, I work on machines. I tear them apart. You already know that, but they don't. I tear them apart, put them back together. It's good. It's a good job. I like it. I get dirty. But my favorite thing is painting. And tomorrow, I get to do my painting. I'm going to love it.
I'm going to love tomorrow, too. It's going to be a great day.
Yeah, because you don't have to work.
It's my day off. I get to sleep in. I do have to go to math class.
There's a spider hanging from the light.
That's George.
That's George?
Yeah.
I don't like George.
You never liked George.
I was out here the other day, and I was doing something on the computer, probably research or something. I don't know what I was doing. I was on the computer. I'm out here doing my stuff, and there's like this little thing right in front of my eyes, and I'm like, what is that? And I back up a little bit. There's a tiny little spider in front of my face.
It means you have an egg sac that hatched. Because you got another spider over there in the corner.
Do I really?
Yeah. See your spider webs? There's a little guy.
Those are always there.
No, I swear that one twitched.
Oh, whatever. I gotta clean the garage.
Yeah, you've been saying that for a while.
Oh, well, it's too cold to do anything right now. Not doing it yet.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all.
I'm not doing it yet.
Did you have a good week, Heather?
I had a pretty good week. I was getting over the sickness. I feel good now. I was finally able to go to church after not going for a couple of weeks. But I finally was able to go. It was a fun time.
Good.
Yeah, good stuff. Didn't do very much. Oh, I cleaned my house.
Yeah, I noticed that. It looked great.
Thanks. We did it all day on Saturday.
That's awesome.
The kids were not happy with me.
That's okay. Well, if they kept it clean, then they wouldn't have to waste an entire Saturday cleaning.
I know. That's what I kept telling them. I was like, well, if we keep it clean, we won't have to do this again. But next weekend, I told them they have to clean their rooms. So,
baby steps, one room at a time. Before you know it, the entire house will be clean, and then you just, hardest part, keeping it.
Yeah, keeping it clean. That's the part. I'm doing okay so far. I mean, the dishes is where it's at. I hate doing dishes.
See, for me, it's dishes and laundry.
Oh, yeah. See, I don't ever put laundry away. They just kind of stay in the basket.
No, see, mine don't ever make it into a basket. They go from a dirty pile on the floor, into the wash machine, into the dryer, into the clean pile in the loft. And it just kind of rotates like that. Sometimes they get put away. Sometimes they don't. I try. I just fail at laundry.
This is the day in the life of a woman, wife person right now.
At least in this neighborhood.
We're talking about doing laundry and dishes.
That's all right.
You know, I got a question for you.
What's up?
Do you believe in Bigfoot?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't believe in Bigfoot?
No.
Never came across anything weird sounding?
Nope. I used to go backpacking all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Used to go hiking all the time.
Yeah.
I used to purposely get lost in the woods for absolutely no reason other than I don't like people sometimes and I just need a break away from society.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. Bears? Yeah. Ghosts? Definitely. Creepy killers in the woods? Sure. Stalkers? Yeah. Bigfoot?
No Bigfoot.
Nope.
Well?
Sorry. You got me on that one. I don't believe in the Bigfoot.
Man. I believe in everything.
I know you do. We've talked about this.
I do believe in Bigfoot. I remember as a kid in Florida, like we had like this 20-minute stretch to get home from basically where our lives were. Our lives were in Daytona, but we lived in DeLand, which was like a 20-minute drive.
All right.
And through that 20-minute drive, there or back, is just woods.
Yep.
It's kind of a scary road. Like, if you happen to be stranded on that road,
Like,
it's scary. It's dark.
Hills Have Eyes scary or different type of scary?
I mean, no, it's not that scary, but it's still, it's pretty scary.
When
Like,
you say scary, I think of like my drive on the way home.
bad things happen.
We had the Hills Like Eyes type of hills on our
No, I mean, there was no hills.
Yeah, well.
So, definitely not like that.
Okay.
A straight road. But it was creepy because, again, it was dark and there were just woods everywhere. And it wasn't that busy of a highway. So, it was just creepy. But I always remember looking through the windows on that drive trying to see if I could spot a Bigfoot.
Gotcha. So
I never did, but...
See, as you know, I grew up in Nevada in a small, like, I could list it off, but you guys won't know where it's at, and that's okay. We're just going to leave it with that.
Mm-hmm.
I had Sierra Nevada mountain range in one direction and mountain range in a different direction. And I went hiking through Nevada, Montana, Idaho, Oregon, like, you name it. Did I say Montana?
Yeah, you did.
Okay. And I never noticed anything. Like, those other things, sure.
Mm-hmm.
But never a Bigfoot. I even had this, it was a 6-mile drive between my house and when you got off the freeway from from town.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a curvy up and down kind of road. And it reminds me of the Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah, that's creepy.
On this side, but then on this side you had like a lake and there's trees. And so like Hills Have Eyes on the right and on the left, forest. Like type looking thing.
Yeah.
And nothing. Maybe Nessie the monster?
Nessie?
Yeah, I believe in Nessie.
Yeah.
And like random things that grab your feet when you're swimming.
Oh. Yeah.
Definitely believe in that. I've been scuba diving and I've seen some, like, I'm not saying I've seen the monster, but I've seen weird things in the water. But Bigfoot doesn't.
You have intrigued me on this whole weird things in the water.
Like when you go scuba diving, you feel like you're in a different world because you are. You like I swear
Literally.
These fish come up to you and look at you and they're like, "You are a air breather. Why are you in my area? Like this is my area." And so the fish kind of like they stop and they look at you and they're like what the beep, and then they just swim off. But, you know, like, sometimes when you're just swimming above the water and you're not going scuba diving and you're swimming around and you know there's nothing below you because you were just down there looking around and now all of a sudden, like, you feel something on your feet. Freaks you out.
Yeah, that's why I don't like going into the water. At least not in the lakes. I don't like lakes.
I love lakes. I love scuba diving. I love swimming. Anything water related, I'm game. Anything outdoor, I'm game.
I'm good with the ocean. Is that weird?
See, I think that's where the most creepy stuff is. Definitely the most dead bodies.
Well, the deep ocean is creepy, but I lived in Florida. I don't know. The ocean doesn't scare me.
Maybe it's like that shallow area, sure, but I'm sure if you went out a little bit farther, like on a boat.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. I've never actually been into the deep ocean other than a cruise.
See, I've never been on a cruise, but
It's fun.
I'm just like, I can believe like monsters being in the water. Totally believe that. I can see it happening. I just don't see Bigfoot.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about Bigfoot.
All right. Well, I hope you can change my mind.
All right, yeah. I mean, you know what a Bigfoot is.
Yeah.
You want to give us a description real
It's
quick?
a giant, larger than man-size, hairy, ape-like monster that lives in the woods that leaves giant, when I say giant, I'm like huge footprints.
Yes. Hence the name Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Also known as Sasquatch. Skunk ape.
That's a funny name.
Yeti. There's all sorts of different names for them. Yeah, skunk apes are found down south, more like Georgia, Florida, the swampy areas.
Yeah, makes sense.
They're called skunk apes.
Like, maybe it's a giant ape-like creature that just happens to have a deformed foot that walks around.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, but I don't believe in, like, the monster.
Well, let me ask you, how many times do you go into the woods to just find any kind of wild animal?
Am I hunting?
No, just, you know.
Or am I just enjoying a hike?
Just enjoying a hike, but you're looking for wild animals. How often do you see these wild animals?
When I lived in Nevada, and I used to go hiking on a regular basis,
Mm-hmm.
you didn't necessarily see them when you were hiking because you make all these noises and you're this outside creature.
Yeah.
But if you're going, like, let's say you're going hunting, right? You become more stealthy, that you can hear and see more things.
Yeah.
Or if you're practicing tracking, you can hear and see more things. So just, like, it's a hard question to answer because it depends on what you're doing.
Yeah.
If I'm just hiking to go for a hike, I'll see birds and, squirrels here and there, but not much of anything else.
Mhm.
But, camping, and now I'm going to go out and I'm going to do some of my tracking or do some of the other stuff, you see a lot more than what you think you'd see because you're being stealthy and you're following things and you've covered your scent.
Okay. That does have to do with some of my research that I've done. That's why I asked the question now. All right. I ordered a book off of Amazon.
Hold on, I'm going to pause real quick.
Okay.
Just so you guys know, on all of these podcasts, Heather does all this research and comes up with a topic, and then I come in and I sit here and she just bombards me with random questions on a random topic. I have no clue what she's about to talk about before we sit down. Just so you guys know where I'm coming from on my answers.
That's true. This is but I like this. I like keeping you on your toes.
Yeah, you don't let me think for my answers.
I'll let you think. Well, you can have a long pause.
Yeah, but I can't go home or go to work. I'm like, oh, how many times in a week did I go hiking looking for a random animal?
Well, I mean, I'm not it's just a question.
I know, and I've got no problem with it. I just want to let them know that you do the research, you come up with these topics, and then we have a fun conversation about it. And 9 out of 10 times, when I sit down, I don't know what we're going to be talking about. I love it, but I just want to let you guys know where we're coming from.
Yeah. All right, yeah. I ordered this book off Amazon. The book is called Indiana Bigfoot, The Beautiful Mind, written by Edwina Cato.
Nice.
Yes. So,
excuse me.
So when you think of Bigfoot, most people think, okay, they probably live in the Northwest, Washington, Oregon. That's where most of the sightings come from. There's over 600 sightings in Washington alone.
Yeah.
So that's where people think that's where Bigfoot is. But this book is explaining that there's Bigfoot here, right here in Indiana. Right here in Indiana.
Interesting.
Yes.
So are we going for a hiking trip, Heather?
Absolutely. Where we're going south of Indianapolis. This lady lived in Indy around this time. So...
What was the time again?
Huh?
What was the time again?
The time? Well, she wrote the book in 2015. So these incidents were probably 2013 to 15.
Well, sometimes when you say in this time, we're talking about
I know, a long time ago. This is more recent.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so I'm taking a little spin on this, more recent stuff. She did a good job with this book. I'm enjoying it. I've only gotten 70% of the way through, so says my Kindle. But that's okay. I got the parts that I really want to talk about.
Okay.
She was pretty much a non-believer in the whole Bigfoot thing. What I love about the paranormal and supernatural is you got these cliques. You got the people who believe in ghosts but think aliens and Bigfoot are stupid. Or you got the alien people who think that ghosts and Bigfoot are stupid. And then the Bigfoot people think everyone's stupid. And you got these cliques.
And then you have Heather who just
I believe in everything. Everything is true. I don't care what it is. It's all true.
And I'm a skeptic on some things.
Like
Bigfoot.
I believe in Bigfoot. I think he's out there. They're out there. Because Bigfoot, I don't think it's just one thing. I think there's a bunch of them. I think there's a whole ecosystem of Bigfoot. There's a bunch of them.
You think there'd be more spottings then?
Yes. Yes, you do.
Do they live underground and then just randomly pop up?
I don't think they live underground. I just think they're really good at hiding.
You think you'd see nests? You'd see baby Bigfoot? You'd see mommy Bigfoots and daddy Bigfoots?
I'm gonna get to what I believe probably at the very end. Okay. But I want to go through what some of the sightings and things like that. All right, so Edwina. I love her name, Edwina. She was part of a ghost hunting paranormal group. Are you taking a picture of me?
No.
That's okay. All right. Yeah, so she was part of a ghost hunting group.
Okay.
So she didn't really believe in the whole Bigfoot thing. She was a ghost person.
That's because ghosts are real.
Her and her husband, Vince, were part of this paranormal group. They'd go out and do their investigations into finding ghosts. Well, they also really enjoyed going to the national parks. Now, she doesn't say which national park it is, but based on where she lived, I am going to guess that it was Brown County State Park or the Hoosier National State Park, just based on where she lived.
I take it those are the two closest to her.
The
location.
closest one, yes, is Brown County State Park. It is Brown County is part of Indianapolis. It's southern Indy.
Okay.
And then right next to Brown County is Monroe County, which is where Bloomington is. IU.
Okay.
Everyone knows IU.
Yeah. Kind of.
I mean, I would think.
The only reason I know IU is because I had to work with some of the peoples.
Oh. Well, that's where they are.
So I know of IU, I know of Bloomington, but I don't know.
Oh.
I can't tell you. I can't tell you where on a map it would be.
Okay. Yeah, so it's south of Indy.
All right.
All right. So that's why I'm just assuming that's where all of this happened. I cannot confirm. I could ask her. I found her on Facebook. I just didn't ask her.
So you cannot confirm nor deny that those are the parks that she went to?
No, I cannot. But I'm very heavily assuming that it's one of those.
All right. We might have to Facebook her.
I probably will. Just to fact check what I'm telling you guys right now. I won't tell you what she says, but I'll check for myself just to make myself feel better about what I'm saying. All right, so they like to go to the park. They had a campsite that they always like to go to. And one day they were packing up and driving home. And out of nowhere, she sees a bat. She saw a bat kind of fly across. So she was distracted, but her husband... He actually stopped the car, like he slammed on the brakes because he saw something in front of the headlights and he was very freaked out. And he goes, "Did you just see that?" And she was like, "Yeah, I just saw a bat. That was weird." And he goes, "No, something ran across the road in front of our car. It was not a bat. It was huge." And she was like, "Oh, okay." Well, he seemed really shaken up, so obviously she believed him.
Yeah.
Don't want to say your husband's seeing things. She was doing research trying to figure out what animal possibly crossed the road because he was extremely shaken up about it, even days later. So she was looking on the internet. She's showing him different animals. He goes, "No, it was bigger than that. No, it was only running on 2 legs. It's not this." So being the person she is, being the investigator type, she was like, "Okay, I'm going to look this up because it's the only other explanation." She was looking at pictures of Bigfoot and showed him one of those, grainy pictures that you see sometimes of
the
the
ones that you
Bigfoot.
see, but they're not clear, so you can't truly identify what it is.
Yes. So she showed him one of those pictures and he goes, "Yes, that's it. That's exactly what I saw. What is that?" And that's when she explained, well, that's a Bigfoot. So from then on, they kind of were more open to the idea of Bigfoot being real because her husband, Vince, actually probably saw one.
See, I'm looking at Bigfoot photos on my phone right now.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at these and I see a random ape who is walking weirdly. I see people in costumes trying to freak other people out.
Sure.
But I don't see anything that looks, realistic, per se.
Yeah.
I see apes or large monkey-like creatures. I see Hollywood. And I see people dressed up in ape costumes. I'm still not a believer. But I'm just saying it's fascinating that they had this experience.
Yeah.
But it's not enough to convince me.
Okay. That's fine. I'll take it. I'm convinced. Oh, boy. Oh, you should see the look on Taryn's face. Nice. That is one hung Bigfoot.
He's definitely well endowed.
Why would someone draw that?
Maybe because he's big, he's got to have a big package. I'm sorry, guys.
Well, if the size of the foot is any indicator. Oh, no.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no. Oh, man. Here we are.
I told you I was looking at Bigfoot photos. I'm not looking up anything else.
That just reminds me of Anchorman. You know it.
Oh.
Oh, no.
Anyway, as you were saying.
Oh. Okay. Sorry. They went back to the campsite because they wanted to do a little more investigating into the whole Bigfoot thing. Now, she dug into this. Like, she really went into it. She got on Bigfoot sites and did research. She watched YouTube videos. She got involved in forums of people who believe in the Bigfoot and are doing the investigating into Bigfoot. And she came across this YouTube video of a woman who lived in Washington State who befriended the Bigfoot in her area by leaving them gifts. Just different little things. Like, she'd bring them food, fruit, peanut butter, other little trinkets. And eventually, the Bigfoot would start taking her gifts to them, and she became friends with them, sort of.
Huh.
So this is the approach that Edwina wanted to take. So she got a few things together and left gifts out to the Bigfoot. It didn't work at first. So she kept coming back to the site and nothing was touched. Nothing, was ever removed.
If there is a Bigfoot, he's just as skeptical as I am.
Yes, he is. I mean, you think these creatures, they're living in the woods and they know about us. They can see us. We're not exactly...
Stealthy?
Yeah, we're not stealthy creatures.
Here I am!
So, obviously, they know what a human is, more than likely. So, they would be just as skeptical as us as any of us would be to them. So, it didn't take for a while. She got a hold of the YouTube woman and actually asked her, like, how did you get the Bigfoot to, accept you or trust you? So she gave her some pointers on what to do. And she's like, you have to have patience. No.
You have to have patience.
Yeah, you have to have patience. So she kept trying. She did the other little tricks. And she found a different spot to leave the gifts because she was leaving it too close to the trails where humans were.
Makes sense.
And so she went back a little further where she knew the Bigfoot liked to go.
How would she know the Bigfoot liked to go there?
Trees. There's this cool, interesting thing. There's tons of pictures in this book, too, about how Bigfoot will leave signs of things. They call them X's, but what the Bigfoot will do is they'll take two really, thicker trees and put them in the form of an X. And it doesn't look like it's natural. It's not a natural thing.
Okay.
Also, tree bends. They will bend the trees without actually breaking them. I don't know how that's possible, but here's a picture.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. And they'll make little structures. Now, here's a picture of an X that they'll do.
See, to me, that looks, and I want you to post these on Facebook, on the site, so that people can see these. But to me, the X looks like two fallen trees. Like, it just kind of, they fell.
This one, you can tell they were kind of placed there because the thicker parts are pointing upwards, whereas the thinner parts are down.
Yeah, that does not look natural, but the other one totally looked like...
a little natural.
Yeah, it looked like the trees just kind of fell that direction, and that's how they landed.
Well...
that one does look odd.
Yeah.
I will give you that.
Here is the picture of the structure that she said, she could tell it wasn't natural. This is something that someone made. It kind of looks like a half teepee.
I was thinking more of like a spider web, like where they start at the corner of the room and just kind of web out.
Oh, yeah.
I could see it being like half unfinished teepee.
Yeah, kind of looks like a half teepee. But it does look like someone made that. That doesn't look natural.
No.
It doesn't look...
trees don't fall that way.
No. So she would leave the gifts in that area. And after a while, her gifts were being accepted. Stuff was being taken. The peanut butter was being taken. She put like ribbon in a box and some like a beaded necklace.
Yeah.
You know, Mardi Gras beads. And they actually like decorated that like half teepee part thing with those.
Huh.
Like with the ribbon and the beads.
Is there a picture of it?
There is. Let me scroll. Here we go. So they like kind of
But
decorated
how do they
the
prove
area.
that, like, I don't know, hikers or kids that see this, like, oh, why not?
I don't know, but
Did
here's
it.
the box. The box isn't fully opened. You can tell it was kind of sort of opened because
Yeah.
someone didn't really know how to open the box.
Or they didn't want to open it all the way.
Either way, but
Could be heavy and didn't want to move it.
there's the box. And they got really excited when the box got messed with. So they were looking around, but they couldn't see any footprints anywhere, which was rather odd. There was no footprints, no human footprints, no animal footprints. There was nothing around there.
Did it recently snowed?
It was always it was just snowy. You know how the winter is. It's just snowy.
But we could get a light dusting, like, of snow that would cover up, like, my footprints over to your house.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, enough sun had hit it to where, like, the top of your car,
Mm-hmm.
there wouldn't be snow on it, but where my steps were are gone because the snow had covered it.
It wasn't recently snowy. They did find something. They found one footprint on a log. So what they determined was they were moving on top of the logs, but not on the ground. Like up on a log and into the trees,
Yeah.
but not on the ground.
Like Tarzan.
Here's a picture of the footprint that they found on the log.
Huh.
It's a very large footprint.
Yeah.
I mean, if you see her hand there, it's very large. At the
there's
bottom.
your- Okay. Yeah. I can see. It kind of looks like a footprint.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of, sort of. I know, it's kind of hard to
Benefit
tell.
of a doubt, it looks like a footprint.
Yeah. It does look rather...
It's not what you would think.
foot-ish.
It's not what you think of a footprint, like the perfect toes and the arch in the foot and the pad, like what you see in, like, YouTube or movies.
Yeah.
But it could be an animal foot. It's squarish. It's got the ridges for the toes.
Yeah.
I could see it being a foot.
Yeah. It's a... Yeah.
I
It
told
looks
I'm
interesting.
skeptical. We're gonna.
Yes.
I'm not denying
I know.
it doesn't look interesting. Everything you're showing to me now looks very interesting.
It does. Okay. At least it's interesting.
Yes, it's very interesting. I'm fascinated on your excitement by this.
I am. I'm very excited by this. It's really cool. So they would go back there all the time. They would just sit there, like, in the darkness. They would be sitting there from midnight to about 3 a.m. Kind of just sitting there, waiting. What they would do is, they would do, like, the howl. Have you ever heard a Bigfoot howl?
No, because I've never seen a Bigfoot. I don't believe in them.
Like, YouTube stuff. Like, you haven't seen anything online about it?
I'm sure I have in the past, but I couldn't imitate it. Like, I could tell you what a dog sounds like howling, but...
If you've never heard one, Google it. Or if I can figure it out, I will insert it somewhere around here. That was a Bigfoot howl.
See, I still say that it kind of sounds like a pack of coyotes or wolves really, really, really far away. Just the one, like, ooh, and then be done with it.
What I played you was a person doing the Bigfoot howl and then hearing one come back at him.
Okay.
So that's what that was.
You left that out when you first let me hear it.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm telling you now. But that's what that was. So they did one first, and then he responded with another howl. All right. So Edwina and Vince would go out into the woods and listen. Sometimes they would hear stuff. Sometimes they wouldn't. They would do tree knocks. That's another way that Bigfoot supposedly communicate. They'll take a piece of wood and knock it like really hard against a tree. You could hear that from a really long ways away if you do it hard enough. And being a 600-pound Bigfoot, you could probably throw that thing pretty hard.
Probably.
They would hear things. They never saw anything, but they would definitely hear a lot of stuff. They would, go back to the car. They were going back to the car one day, and they were hearing stuff. They were doing the tree knocks, and then they would hear a response. They would hear more tree knocks from like miles away.
Huh. But
then they heard one not very far away up the trail from them. They were hearing a knock, not a response to their knock, but to the response to the other knock that they heard.
Huh.
What they're thinking is the Bigfoot were communicating that they knew they were there, and just, warning, hey, the humans are coming that way.
Yeah. And
so they did another knock, but I guess that may have annoyed the Bigfoot that was closer to them, because a really large tree branch got thrown at them.
Huh.
Not thrown at them like it was trying to hurt them, but thrown at them like, shut up. Like they were interrupting them, I think probably in the middle of a hunt.
Gotcha.
And they were being disturbing. So he was throwing something like, shut up, get out of here. So that's what they did. They got out of there. There was another time they were there with a couple of friends at the actual campsite. So they weren't even back in the woods where they normally go. But they had recorders on. And they were doing the hooting and hollering and the stuff that the Bigfoot do, just to try to get a response. And then they started hearing growls.
Huh.
But they had the recorders going the whole time, but the growl was not very far away. It was towards the bathrooms that were probably a few feet away from them. And they said it didn't sound like menacing growls. It was just kind of a growl. I don't know how it growls.
Annoyed, and you need to stop.
No, maybe not annoyed. I don't know. I just don't know. They didn't feel threatened by the growl, but, it was a growl.
See, when I think of growls, I resort back to dogs, mostly.
Yeah.
And growls are like a parrot counting. Get your little booty over here now, and they don't listen, so you go 1, 2, 3, and at 3 they get a spanking or some kind of response, and they get in trouble. That's what I think of growls. Growls are like, I'm annoyed.
That's what I do too. So
you better get here now, because it's not going to end well.
So I'm thinking instead of using the word growl, I think she probably should have used the word grunt. Because in my mind, it was probably more grunting rather than growling.
Huh.
I don't know. Either way, they got freaked out, got into the cars. But they forgot the recorders. Poor Vince had to get out of the car at around 2 in the morning, so it's pitch dark. He didn't really, he was going back there in the pitch darkness after something just...
Where's his flashlight?
I'm sure he had it on him. Either way, still creepy.
Not as creepy if you got a light.
Well, he's going by himself because she wasn't getting out of that car.
No, I'm going to risk my husband for this recorder that may or may not have something on it.
If it were me, I would have gotten out of the car.
You would send your husband. You know what? You go get this. I'll wait right here.
This is the other way around. Tyler would send me out there to go get it. No, that's not true. We'd go together. We'd go out there together to go get it. But Vince went out there by himself to go get it. Got the recorders, ran back to the car, and they drove away. As soon as they got home, he started uploading the recording to hear what they got.
Yeah.
And he listened to it and was like, oh, you've got to hear this. And I wish I could hear what they got. I wish you could hear audio recordings from a book, but you can't. It'd be cool.
In the future, you will.
Yes, probably in the future. That'd be awesome. But she started listening to it, and you could hear the growl. You could hear it. It was very close. So you could hear it, and you could hear them running past the recorders, and you could hear the car door slamming. And then after all that noise, you could hear what sounded like words.
Okay.
But it was not in a language. It wasn't in English, and it wasn't in any kind of other language. It was like a really rough sounding language. So the only thing you could think was that Bigfoot was actually trying to talk, but in his own language.
Yeah. Huh.
They sent off their recording to a known, I don't know what I don't remember what they said he does, but he analyzes recordings from Bigfoot findings is what he does. And he said that within what he was hearing, there was a certain sound or Bigfoot word that is used a lot and heard in a lot of other recordings. And he's assuming that it's the word for human. So it's the same word or sound that a bunch of other people have also recorded.
Interesting.
Very interesting. And it was really cool. So that's really all the story I want to tell you about Edwina and Vince. That's all the really cool stuff, at least from what I read. They have a lot of other stuff in the book. I've barely gotten into what her findings onto the Bigfoots are. If you want to know, you can go ahead and read her book. And she's got 2 books out right now. The Indiana Bigfoot one. And then she's got another one that goes with it. And then she's actually starting to write another one.
Well, make sure you add those books into the website so they can easily find it.
I will try. I'm having a hard time figuring out the whole website thing. But I will try.
Maybe we'll just put it on Facebook.
Yeah, I can do that. I'm good
go.
with Facebook. So that's her story on the Bigfoot. Do you what do you think about her story?
I think it's interesting. I think it's fascinating. I like the fact that they actually had some kind of evidence per se. Mm-hmm. But I'm still not necessarily believing in the Bigfoot. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. And I spent a lot of times out in the woods. Maybe it's because I wasn't sitting there at night hitting a tree with a piece of wood as hard as I could. But every time I think of Bigfoot, I just think of, some guy in a suit that's playing gimmicks on people.
All right. That's fine.
I'm not saying Bigfoot's not real, because there's a possibility with all this different evidence that's been out there that he is. But if it's so big and so strong with such big feet, mm-hmm. They're spread out across the United States, because obviously there's been sightings of them everywhere. Yeah. Why haven't we been able to see something on, the satellite scans where you can zoom into a window in a car? I could type in my old address and a date and get an image of my house and what I had in the backyard and where exactly my, trampoline was. But I can't go into the woods and see, the random trees or just a guy, Bigfoot thing walking over the trees, or an opening where there's been sightings of Yetis with, the big snow feet. Why is this not being caught on satellite? Where is the actual evidence, aside from hearings and noises and howling in the background and recordings? Where are the bodies? They gotta die at some point. Everything dies. Everything comes back to life. Mm-hmm. Where is the babies? Where's the habitat? Why is it not consistent throughout the entire United States? Are they in different countries? And if so, why is that not close to the same type of habitat? And why have we never actually seen one person? Do the males fight over the females? And where's the blood? Where's this epic battle scenes like you see with other mammals?
All fantastic points. I love the skepticism.
Good, because it's not going anywhere.
I have some answers. Okay. Now, these Bigfoot creatures are probably more human-like than you would think. They're obviously more animal than we are, but they're more human than, say, a chimpanzee is.
So, the missing link in the evolutionary process.
They're the in-between.
Okay.
So, they probably have the family structures. They probably have territories figured out. Yes, they are in other countries, as the Yeti, also near Nepal and stuff like that. They are definitely in other countries. They are only ever around forests. And no, you're probably not going to get a satellite picture of them, because forests are dense, Taryn. You can't really get the pictures of the ground from there.
I'm not saying yes, I know you cannot see the ground from the satellite pictures, but you can see patterns. You can see things that okay, here was a big group of trees, and now all of a sudden that tree is not as dense, right? Mm-hmm. Because they made their habitat out of it. Why are we not seeing this evidence of their habitat other than that one teepee picture that you showed me of the trees? And it's kind of fascinating. Why is it positioned that way? Mm-hmm. But why is there not more evidence of this? Why is it you could go hiking through a forest and 9 out of 1,000 times, or you know what I mean, 9 out of 10 times, you're not going to see anything like that. I will admit, some of those pictures you showed me, okay, that is fascinating. Trees don't fall that way. They don't land like this.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, where do they live? You said they don't live underground.
No, I don't think they do.
But they don't necessarily live, like, in the trees.
No, I don't think they build their homes in the trees.
So, you know, where are they sleeping? Where are they laying their head down at night? Where, like, show me an evidence on where they live and what do they eat and why have we never found a deceased body? They die at some point. It's not like they're thousands and thousands of years old.
Mm-hmm. That is true. Do you want to know what I think
I would love to know
about
what you
all
think.
this?
Because you've heard what I think, so I'd like to hear what you think.
I believe that Bigfoot are interdimensional beings.
Okay.
They can exist on our plane of existence, but they could also exist on a different plane of existence where their actual home is. Where their actual home, where they actually live, is a different universe, per se.
Then what's the point of putting the X's or playing with the beads or doing the...
So, here's the thing about the different universes. So, you'll have this,
No, hold on a second.
bubble.
Before
okay.
you go to universes, are we talking about, like, Marvel universes?
No. Like, actual scientific universe. Like, here's our world. This is our world right here. Okay, sorry. My hand...
So for you guys, she's making a oval shape circle that she's putting it about her forehead length and saying, this is our world.
Okay. I'm actually changing it up. I'm holding my hand up. This is our world. My hand is our world. This is a different world.
Her other hand.
My other hand is a different world. But they're not always like this. They're not always separate. I'm holding my hands apart. They're not always separate and apart. Sometimes these worlds will overlap.
Okay.
That's why we're seeing the Bigfoot, because their world is overlapping with our world. So that is why you are seeing glimpses. That's why people aren't really like, I mean, they're seeing them, they're hearing them, but they're not like getting concrete evidence because they're not actually part of our world.
Interesting.
What do you think?
I like it.
All right.
I'm still a skeptic on Bigfoot.
Okay.
I do like your perspective of it, like your thought behind why you're not seeing any of the stuff that I want to see.
Yeah.
Like, no, I don't necessarily need to see something to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
For example, like, I believe in God,
Well, you don't see him.
but you'll never see him.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I believed in Santa Claus. As a kid, you never see Santa Claus. I don't necessarily need to see it to believe it, but for something like a Bigfoot, I want more evidence.
Okay.
I don't need to see a Bigfoot to believe a Bigfoot's there. But I want to see some kind of, like, more to believe it is. Does that make sense?
More, sure.
Like, for example, for Jesus, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't see him, but because of him and because of how he created us, I have my kid. I see people who are, complete A blanks, and something will happen to them, and then all of a sudden, they're a different person. And maybe that's because, God touched them or helped change them. I see someone who's hit rock bottom, and someone else who believes in Jesus bring him to Jesus, and now this person is better, or is at least having a better life. And I have seen people who are depressed who have turned to God, who you don't see, and now they're not as depressed. So you don't necessarily need to see it to believe it, but at least there's evidence there. There's evidence of things happening because of a certain person or a certain being.
Mm-hmm.
With Bigfoot, I just don't get it.
All right. There is a website. It's bfro.net. This is the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization.
Okay.
What they do is put together all of the sightings of Bigfoot in whatever state by county. So obviously I went to Indiana. And Brown County is where we've been centralized, so I looked at the Brown County one. Now, this research organization only has 3 in Brown County, which is fine. But they separate them into Class A and Class B sightings. Class B sightings are hearing things or maybe sensing something, and Class A is actually seeing one.
Okay.
So there are 2 Class Bs and 1 Class A. The Class A was in 1998. It says, evening encounter by backpacker in Hoosier National Forest.
Huh.
The 2 Class Bs were campers heard vocalizations. And then the other one was campers hear strange sounds. And they see the outline of an upright creature. So they didn't see the creature itself, but they thought they saw an outline of the creature. That's why it's a Class B. They didn't, really see it. So I was having fun on this. I was looking at all of them. And of course, our county has 0 sightings of Bigfoot. I was really upset about that. But then again, I thought, we don't exactly have a national forest anywhere near us.
I don't think Bigfoot likes corn.
No. So I had to go to the counties that I knew had national forests. So Brown obviously is one. Then I went to Monroe County. There are 8 sightings in Monroe County, which also has the Brown County State Forest. So that's kind of part of it. There's 8 of them, and 1, 2, 3 of those 8 are Class A's.
All right, let's rewind a little bit, and let's say it is your interdimensional being.
Yeah.
If it was an international being and the worlds happened to cross at a certain time, which is why we are seeing them when we see them or hearing them when we hear them, right? You think they'd be able to have some kind of scientific calculation on approximately when these times are going to happen.
You would think.
Like, let's say, normally you have World A is over here and World B is, completely different. And every, 10 years or every 5 years, they crash just for that little bit of time, and that's when we see them. And then you're going to have to wait 5 to 10 years and it happens again.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines. Maybe it's every 3 months and then 6 months and then 9 months, and it just rotates. But you think you'd be able to pinpoint, when and where it might happen next, and they don't have that either.
No, the problem with that is the other universes, like this other universe theory, there's an infinite amount of other universes. There's no way you could pinpoint just one. Yeah, there's no way you could do hypothetically, that.
But you should be able to take...
you can't even prove that the infinite theory is...
No, you can't prove it. That's why we're playing hypothetical here.
Yes.
But let's say you take all the sightings in the last 50 years. Okay? Where were they? And how far apart were they? From there, you should be able to come up with some kind of mathematical or scientific notation of when or where, an estimate on when it might happen again or where it might happen again.
The other problem is that not everyone makes a report.
Well, I'm not saying it's going to be perfect. But I'm just going to say it's this hypothetical. It's going to give you an idea. Okay, so it hit Brown County and then it hit here. And then, is there a literal pattern on where this is happening, or is it just sporadic?
I think it's just sporadic.
But have you done the research, Heather?
I have been looking at Bigfoot stuff all day, Taryn. All day. And if I'm not an expert in Bigfoot, I'm not, but I don't know who is.
I'm just saying, I would, if we're going to play hypothetical and say that it is an interdimensional being, I would like to see, okay, how often do they appear? And, is it, is there a linear pattern, or is I'm going to come to point A and then point D and then C and then Z, just, random, let's just throw a Yeti in there, and then, come back over to here, and then over yonder, and back to A, and...
It's a fair point, but it would be a very flawed scientific
Everything's flawed.
No, it would be extremely flawed, because it's like that thing, if a tree falls and no one's around, does it make a noise?
Yes.
It's the same thing, though. It's like a Bigfoot could be there, but no one's around, so how would you know?
I'm not saying it's going to be perfect. I'm just saying it would be interesting to see what their findings are. When and where and how often they appear. Even if you can't predict when the next one's going to happen. How often, like, year, location, and time. Like, maybe not, like, time of the actual thing, but, okay, so it happened in February of 2019, but it happened twice in February of 2019 at this location, but then it happened 4 times in, September of 2019 over in Washington. Like, that would be neat to see.
I think that's what that website is showing you. That's what they're showing you. That's what you want. They're showing the month and the year and where. So that's really what they're doing.
Yeah, but I mean, it would be cool if they could, like, because it's international. I can't talk. Interdimensional being. It would be neat to, like, okay, we know how often it appears to be showing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hypothetically, every 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
Hypothetically. So, you know that during the months of, March, April, May, and June, you're not really going to see anything. But July, August, and September, we're going to see something.
But it's just so sporadic.
I'm not saying, yeah, but if you have the data, then, and you know that the majority of the sightings were between, August and October.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. So let's go see if we can find one during that time period. Because that's when they most likely appear.
Okay, but they appear all the time.
Whatever. You want me to believe it over? That's
I do.
my thing.
And I'm in a weird class of my own, honestly. Like, I know there's a few other people I know that believe Bigfoot are interdimensional, but there's not that many of us. Most people believe that they actually live here, but I'm right with you. Like, what happens to their dead? Where are they sleeping? Like, I don't understand any of that. I don't know, unless they're nocturnal creatures, and that's why we never see them during the day.
But you have all these scientists that are going out there that study all these different types of animals throughout the entire world. Like, I'm not saying we have all the animals in the entire world, but we know, like, your nocturnal species versus your daylight species, and we know, where they live and what their habitat is and what they need to survive and what they tend to eat, all the way down from the smallest, like, bed bug and smaller, all the way up to your largest animal. So if Bigfoot really is here, you think that all these scientists that go out and study all these things would have come across it. If it lived, let's take away the other world, right? And they live here on Earth with us.
Yeah.
Where?
Any national park, apparently, because that's what I'm seeing on this website. Any place that has a national park, they're there. Or someone's seeing something. Maybe they migrate. Maybe they're one of those migrating animals where they're not in the area all the time.
Yeah, but they always come back to that area.
Yeah, they would always come back. So there would be
evidence that they're there, or that they're coming back, or that they were there.
I don't know.
Like apes. Apes don't migrate, but they move around, right? But I'm assuming if you were to go to that area, you could see, okay, this is an ape nest. We know this is a nest. We know they were here.
Yeah, but that's essentially what the Edwina is doing. She said this is the structure that is done from Bigfoot. We know they were there because this is the structure.
But they're still there because they decorated it.
Yeah.
If they're actually there. But, okay, so where are the other ones?
Deeper in the forest, where humans don't go.
Yes, they do.
I ain't.
Well, I know you ain't. But others do.
They're good hiders. They're the hide-and-seek champions of the world. Extra
large, super strong, big creature is afraid of little old bee.
I'm not saying that they're afraid of us. I'm sure they know they could take us. But they also don't want us to know that they exist because they probably know that, yeah, humans kill animals. They kill the big things. They probably see hunters going to kill huge elk, and they see hunters going to kill bears. They probably see it.
You know why they kill elk? Because they're tasty.
I'm not going to deny that.
Elk is tasty.
But the Bigfoot probably see this. They probably know. So yeah, they're going to stay clear. They're not gonna let us know that they're out there.
I'm not necessarily saying that they're not out there. Maybe they are. Maybe I'm just blind to the Bigfoot world. But I've done a lot of backpacking. I've done a lot of hiking through all, like, And I'm not saying I've gone to all these places. Like, hey, a Bigfoot sighting was here. I'm not necessarily gone hiking through that area. I've just gone hiking through areas. We spent 3 or 4 days in the woods with 1 or 2 friends where you're just hiking.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen those, like, the weird structure where the heavier parts are up top and the lighter, and it was the X.
Yeah.
I've never seen that. I've never seen the teepee-like thing. I've seen the bends that you were talking about in the trees. I've seen that.
I've seen those.
I've seen the X, but it looks like, and same in that picture, it looked like, this tree kind of fell on this tree, and it just happened to make an X.
Yeah. A natural X.
And it was natural looking. Everything that I've seen is natural looking. I've never seen, and I'm not saying just because I haven't seen it, it's not there, but it's really hard for me to believe that this large animal that leaves these massive footprints has, like, never been found. Like, there's no evidence of the dead. There's no, like, and I'm not saying I need to see a dead one. I'm not saying that I need to, like, physically see a Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're a creature, they obviously have a lifespan. They have to reproduce. They have to live somewhere. Whether that means that they, at this time they live here and then they migrate this way and then they come back. That there's a pattern to that. So where's the pattern? It's not there because it's sporadic.
It is.
Where's the bones? Where's the blood? Where's the making babies? Like, where? I'm not saying I need to see them making the babies, but you
just want to see them making the babies.
You would have baby Bigfoots.
Yes, you would.
That wouldn't be as careful as the adults. So that you think there'd be more sightings of the babies than of the adults.
Well, I mean, if they're good parents, they're not going to let their babies just wander off in front of a human.
I'm not saying they would, but they would be more like scratches in the trees or more like evidence. I don't know what kind of evidence I'm looking for here, but I feel like there would be more if there was little creatures, like a house, for example, right? Mm-hmm. If it's just you and your husband or you and your spouse or you and somebody else, good chances it's going to be clean. Like, you do the dishes, you throw your laundry in the dirty clothes, it's picked up.
Supposedly,
you would think that if it's just you or if it's you and another person, teenage to adult person, it's easier to keep the house clean because you both work on it together and it's kept up. And then you throw a toddler in there or a 5 to 10-year-old and it's all out the window.
Mm-hmm.
So where's this 5 to 10 year or whatever hypothetical range it is for this animal where they're young or going yeah, and they're just everywhere. Like, where is the evidence that this creature is other than knockings and howlings that could be another creature?
I'm telling you, it's interdimensional. That's why. That's why I think that way.
If Bigfoot, I still don't believe in Bigfoot. It's fun to have these arguments. I still don't believe in Bigfoot. I think that if Bigfoot is real, your theory makes most sense to me.
That's kind of why I've gone with it. It does make the most sense.
Yeah. If Bigfoot's
Bigfoots.
If Bigfoot is real, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I still don't think he's real. Or she's real.
Would you be willing to go on a Bigfoot hunt with me?
Sure.
Yes. All right.
I want you to prove me wrong.
There are cabins down there that we can rent and stay for a weekend.
Okay.
If you would like us to go on a Bigfoot hunt so I can prove to Taryn that Bigfoot are real, let us know. Email me. Get on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Let me know. I'm checking it all. Taryn's going to go on a Bigfoot hunt.
I'm just saying, prove me wrong.
Yeah. We're going to go find some big feet.
Okay.
Is the plural for Bigfoot big feet or Bigfoots?
Big feet.
It is not. It's Bigfoots, which I find so funny because it sounds weird to say Bigfoots.
That's kind of like for ox.
Uh-huh.
Isn't it oxes?
Oxes. Or is it just ox?
I don't know.
Oxen.
It is oxen. You're
Oxen.
Right. Why is geese goose?
No, goose is geese.
Okay, why?
I don't know. It's the same thing that foot is feet.
Foot is feet. Okay, that makes sense. You have 1 foot, you have 2 feet.
Yeah, you have 1 goose, you have 2 geese.
Yeah, but gooses make more sense.
No, it doesn't. That's saying Bigfoots. So weird.
It's big feet.
Should be big
There's
feet,
multiple
but it's
big feet here. There's one Bigfoot, multiple big feet.
not.
The English language is so weird.
I don't like it.
It's so confusing.
I can't speak it ever.
Words.
Done.
We speak words.
Words. Can I speak words?
Not today, Heather.
Nope. Okay. Taryn,
Heather.
my favorite thing are dad jokes.
I know this was coming.
Do you know any good dad jokes?
I don't know any good dad jokes. There is one that I heard on the radio. I don't watch. On my drive-in at like 5 o'clock in the morning, I listen to obviously the radio, and they always have, it's called The Morning Corny.
Uh-huh.
And they have dad jokes on there.
Yes.
But to save my life, I can't remember what today's joke was. And it was very stupid. I'm like, I hit my head. My hand on my head multiple times on this drive-in. Like, did I just hear that?
Oh, man.
I do have one written down, and if you want to tell yours,
Yes.
I will read you mine.
Okay, here's mine. What did the janitor say when he jumped out of the closet?
Boo?
Supplies!
Nice.
That's so funny. I can't. Oh, it's a good one. Did you find yours?
No, I'm looking for it. Give me a second.
This is going to be your job from now on, Taryn. You have to find me a new dad joke every week so I can laugh and giggle at it. And tell everyone.
All right, I got one for you.
Okay.
This is not mine. I have a friend on Facebook who, for Christmas, his wife got him a dad joke book.
Nice.
And so randomly, probably about daily or weekly, he posts dad jokes.
Awesome.
It's rather entertaining to
I want to
read
be friends
on
with
Facebook.
this guy.
So this was Saturday's dad joke from my friend that will remain nameless. Just heard about a dwarf who was pickpocketed. How could anyone stoop so low?
That's a good one. That is such a good one. That is pure gold.
I'm telling you, like, I'm scrolling through his thing right now, and they're popping up
Oh, man.
left and right.
If you have any purely awesome dad jokes to send me, I appreciate all dad jokes.
I
They're
got one
hilarious.
more.
Taryn, save it.
No, I have to do this one. It's
Fine,
so funny.
okay.
What's the definition of a will?
What?
Come on, folks, it's a dead giveaway.
That's a good one. Oh, that was a good one. My favorite one was the dwarf one, though.
That was this morning's.
Oh,
Anyway, I'll
man.
save the rest of the dad jokes for the next one. I'm sure he'll have more, and I'll try to come up with my own.
You don't have to come up with your own. Just,
Okay, I will document the
There you
ones that
go.
pop up on Facebook because they happen weekly.
Well, if they happen weekly, that's perfect. We are a weekly podcast.
But anyway, if you guys have any dad jokes, please, I'd love to see Heather's face when she reads them.
I'm just going to forward them to you.
That
And then
works.
you're going to read them. They're going to be awesome. All right. Yep. Okay. Hey, guys. Our website is fortweirdpodcast.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. All of them are going to be at Fort Weird Pod. Shout out. Let us know you're listening. If you like us, if you listen every week, shoot me a email, heather@fortweirdpodcast.com. Message me on Facebook. Get a hold of me on Instagram. I like to know who you guys are. If you're my family, I already know who you are, so you don't have to do that. You're gonna anyways, because I know how you guys are. But, just let me know. I like to know when you guys are listening. I like to know you. So, give us a shout out. Let us know.
We'll talk to you guys next week.
All right, bye.
Expedition to try and find any evidence dead or alive.
the existence of this.
Not the finest whatever the world has ever seen. Kill your grandma, you just by fucking on her eggs. I did on it, you won't miss me for thousands ahead. If it all comes out, just smile at it.
This expedition to try and find any evidence, dead or alive.
The existence of this.